The Quebec tuition protests continue to be a turbulent and complex political situation. May 22nd marked the 100th day of the student strike, and cities across the world were invited to hold events to show support and solidarity for the struggle. Sasha Krioutchkova walks us through Calgary's response to the call-out.
If you happened to be on Stephen Avenue that day, you may have found yourself surrounded by more red than usual. Banners, flags, leaflets, pins, and protesters invaded the downtown core lunch hour streets. But were they allowed to be there? One of the protesters, Tavis Ford, was sure of it.
We looked at the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. We understand our human rights. We see that it's okay to freely assemble, to peacefully assemble.
And in fact, there is no law in Calgary that restricts peaceful demonstrations or requires protesters to submit their plans to authorities ahead of time. In Quebec, however, this is no longer the case. Bill 78 came into effect on May 19th and is the piece of legislation that solidarity protesters here in Calgary have dubbed draconian.
This law was passed which takes away the right to assemble, the right to conscience, the right to expression.
While Peggy Askin may not be wrong about the new law infringing on basic rights and freedoms, there is a provision in the Charter that may be what policymakers are counting on.
No right in this country is absolute. Rights may be limited if the limitation is justified, demonstrably justified in the interest of peace and order.
Aware as he is of this provision, Brian Seaman of the Alberta Civil Liberties Research Centre does not believe that it would save this legislation in court and questions Bill 78 further.
I really am at a loss to explain why the authorities didn't use the existing tools that they have within the Criminal Code of Canada.
Since the passing of Bill 78 into law, protests, civilian disobedience, and police violence have not ceased on Montreal streets. The Quebec government's solution does not seem to be working, and there are no concrete answers in sight. Even those who came out to protest here in Calgary give such general suggestions as take a stand, get informed, inform others, and show solidarity. Other protesters, like Jan, are honest about the complexity of the situation.
I don't know what the solution is. I really don't. I wish I did know the solution.
Jan is worried about the affordability of education for her grandkids, but also about the democratic rights that she feels are being taken away in Canada one by one.
I'm not really fighting for the Quebec students because they need to negotiate with their government and their universities, but I really do stand by their right to assemble and to protest.
And in fact, standing by each other is something all protesters agreed on.
One for all and all for one.
As for Bill 78, it will be facing a series of legal challenges that are set to begin on June 1st. For NUTV, this is Sasha Krioutchkova.